Most people think that building better habits or changing your actions is all about willpower or motivation. I was also one of these people, but the more I learn, the more I believe that the number one driver of better habits and behavior change is the choice architecture of your environment. Let's talk. Anne Thorndike, a primary care physician at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, had a crazy idea. She believed she could improve the eating habits of thousands of hospital staff and visitors without changing their willpower or motivation in the slightest way. In fact, she didn't even plan on talking to him at all. Thorndike and her colleagues designed a 6-month study to alter the choice architecture of this hospital cafeteria. They started by changing how drinks were arranged in the room. Originally, the fridges located next to the cash registers in the cafeteria were filled with only soda. The researchers added water as an option. Additionally, they placed baskets of bottled water next to the food stations throughout the room. Soda was still in the primary fridges, but water was now available at all drink locations. What happened next? Over the next 3 months, the number of soda sales at the hospital dropped by 11.4%. Meanwhile, sales of bottled water increased by 25.8%. They made similar adjustments and saw similar results with the food in the cafeteria. Nobody had said a word to anyone eating there. This shows people often choose products not because of what they are, but because of where they are. If I walk into the kitchen and see a plate of cookies on the counter, I'll pick up half a dozen and start eating even if I hadn't been thinking about them before. If the communal table at the office is always filled with donuts and bagels, it's going to be hard to not grab one every now and then. Your habits change depending on the room you are in and the cues in front of you. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Despite our unique personalities, certain behaviors tend to arise again and again under certain environmental conditions. In church, people tend to talk in whispers. On a dark street, people act wary and guarded. In this way, the most common form of change is not internal, but external. We are changed by the world around us. Every habit is context dependent. So in essence, to change your behavior, change your environment. Every habit is initiated by a cue, and we are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Unfortunately, the environments where we live and work often make it easy to not do certain actions because there's no obvious cue to trigger that behavior. It's easy to not practice guitar when it's tucked away in the closet. It's easy to not read a book when the bookshelf is in the corner of the guest room. It's easy to not take your vitamins when they are out of sight in the pantry. When the cues that spark a habit are subtle or hidden, they are easy to ignore. Thankfully, there is good news in this respect. You don't have to be the victim of your environment. You can also be the architect of it. If you want to quit masturbation, list a few reasons of its destruction and put it next to your monitor. If you want to avoid overeating and junk food, just put a sticky note on the pantry door. The same strategy can be employed for good habits. By sprinkling triggers throughout your surroundings, you increase the odds that you'll think about your habit throughout the day. Make sure the best choice is the most obvious one. Making a better decision is easy and natural when the cues for good habits are right in front of you. Environment design is powerful not only because it influences how we engage with the world, but also because we rarely do it. Most people live in a world others have created for them, but you can alter the spaces where you live and work to increase your exposure to positive cues and reduce your exposure to negative ones. Environment design allows you to take back control and become the architect of your own life. Be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. This video was partly based on the famous influential book Atomic Habits. They're not sponsoring me or anything, it's just that the book is one of those you have to read before you turn into worm food. Alright kings, if you found this video helpful, please help me make better videos by sharing your thoughts and ideas down in the comments below. Thanks.